Alright, so today I'm going to teach you about the difference of two cubes. So the difference of two cubes is when we have got a perfect cube subtracting another perfect cube, right? Remember, there's a difference between the sum and the difference, right? Sum means addition and the difference means subtraction. So I'm also going to teach you about the sum of two cubes at the same time, right? So let's deal with the difference of two cubes first. So when we have something like this, we're going to have to open a bracket for a binomial, meaning something with two terms, and a bigger bracket for a trinomial, meaning something with three terms. So what's the cube root of a cubed? It's just a. Cube root of b is b. Then what do we have to multiply a by so that we can get a cubed? Is actually a squared, right? Then what we have to multiply, so the first two should always give you the first thing that will appear, and the last two should always give you the last that will appear. So what do we have to multiply b by to get b cubed is actually b squared. Or another way of doing this is whatever you have here, you just squared, you have this, you just squared, you will have that, right? Then for the middle term, you have to multiply this stuff. So what is a times b is actually ab, right? So for the middle term, every time we want to multiply those two stuff, right? So we just copy down the signs, whatever is there. If it's a plus, we'll put a plus. If it's a minus, we'll put a minus. So because it's a minus, we'll put a minus. Then the last one will always be a plus. And then the sign of this will always contradict the sign of that. So if it's a plus, it will be a minus. If it's a minus, it will be a plus, right? So there we have it. We have just factorized it. So if they ask you to factorize fully, you will now have to factorize that as well, right? Just before I continue, if you want to be tutored, either online or physically, online it doesn't matter where you are or which country you are at, you can still be tutored. So we offer cheap online lessons, and if you want to be tutored physically, we can still make an arrangement. So call or WhatsApp this number, but preferably please WhatsApp this number, and then we will take it from there. So what I do is that I tutor people 5 days a week online, and I give tests once a week so that I can check your improvements. So if they ask us to factorize fully, we'll have to factorize this further. But I'm gonna deal with factorizing fully on another video, right? So at the moment, I believe this is not factorizable. I didn't really check, but let's just say it's not factorizable. Alright, so I factorized the difference of two cubes. Now let's say it's the sum of two cubes. So if there's a sum of two cubes, when we factorize it, we do the same thing still. So what's the this cube of a cubed is actually a, cube of b cubed is actually b. And then now what do we have to put there? If we square it, it's just gonna be a squared, or simply what do we have to multiply this by to get that? It will be a squared, right? And then now there, of course, if you square it, it's gonna be b squared, and of course the last sign is always a plus. And then we just copy down the sign there, and then what is a times b is actually ab, right? Ignoring the signs, a times b is ab, and then the sign of this will always have to contradict that sign, so it's gonna be a negative. And then we have it, we have factorized it. Here's another example. So let's say we have got 8a cubed minus 27b cubed. Well, we can see 8 is a cube, right? Because 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, right? That gives you 8, right? So we open two brackets like that. So the cube root of 8a cubed is actually 2a, right? And then of 27b cubed is actually 3, right? The cube root of 27 is 3, so it's gonna be 3b. Then from there we just square this. So if you square this, it's gonna be 4a squared. If you square this one, it's gonna be 9b squared. Notice I'm also squaring the letters, right? And if you multiply, you'll notice it will give you the first one, and if you multiply the last one, it will also give the last one. And then what do we do? What is 2a times 3b? That's gonna be 6ab. And then from there, let's deal with the signs. The last one will always be a plus. Here we just copy and paste, and then the sign of the middle term will always contradict the sign of that. So there we have it. Alright, here's something for you to attempt. You can pause the video and attempt it and press play. So how do we do with this thing? Well, it's quite simple. 1 is a cube, remember? So the cube root of 1 is 1. So the cube root of 1 is 1. The cube root of x cubed is x. And then when we square this, it's just 1. 1 squared is 1. And then x squared, we have it there. And then now 1 times x is x, right? We don't need to write 1x. And then the last one, of course, will always be a plus. Here we copy and paste. And then this will contradict that, so we'll have that. And there we have it. Let's just do one more. 1 minus 4y cubed. Well, when we do this, alright, so this is what we'll do. So when we cube root it, it's gonna give us that. When we cube root this, it's gonna give us, okay, let's just say, okay, I made a mistake here. This was not my intention. My intention was to say 64. Alright, so the cube root of 64 is 4, right? Because 4 cubed is 64. So it's gonna be 4y, right? And then now when we square this, it's gonna be 1. When we square that, it's gonna be 16y squared. Remember, we're not only squaring the numbers but also the letters. And then now what is 4y times y? Notice I'm ignoring the signs. 4y times 1 is just 4y. And then the last sign will always possess a plus, an addition sign, right? And the middle term will always contradict that. So there we have it. And we have come to the end of the video. So I deal with other types of factorizings in other videos. See you.